The Golden Gate Course by Bernard, Thorpe Bricks Teaching Centre, Alton and Launceston, Cornwall, England. Forward. This is a new edition, and I think you will be interested to read my comments from BWN, which is Bernard's Weekly News, number 1710. A student had written, "This Golden Gate course is lovely." Another wrote, "Have been revising, discovering once again the magic of the Golden Gate course." And I commented, "Mention of this course reminds me of something that happened recently. The typewritten stencils are wearing out, so the lesson booklets were given to me to see if I wished to revise them before they were retyped. I decided to do so, and began a few weeks ago. It turned out to be a big task, so very much was out of date. I wrote this Golden Gate course many years ago in the 1950s. As I read the first few lessons, I was amazed. I had forgotten what these grounds looked like when I first bought the property. All the bushes and weeds that had to be cleared, and rusty old bedsteads used as gates and fences. The large number of staff employed, mostly girls just left school who were being taught to type and do other office work. Nowadays, with all the restrictions connected with employment and training, it would not be possible. Then there were the costs of things, now seeming so low, but then quite large. Even the afterword of the first lesson is way out of date now. I began the revision and I did quite a lot of it, but then realised it was not practical. What I had written in those lessons gave glimpses into life that has gone. After revision, it would lose all those. So I've decided to abandon revision and have the original lessons just as they were written about 30 years ago, retyped after all. Truth teaching is ageless and unchanging. The Golden Gate Course, Lesson 1. Do you want good fortune in life? Happiness, success, health, friendships, prosperity, confidence, freedom, the little extras that make all the difference to your world. Of course you do, but how many people will admit it? As soon as some people awake to a knowledge of the great reality behind the visible universe, they seem to get the idea that money should be beneath them. They throw a romantic veil over that vague term, the poor, praise people who openly declare that they don't wish to make any profits and generally hold to the thought of poverty, which accordingly, with unwavering accuracy, works itself out in their lives, as inner mind pictures do. Every student who undertakes this course must be willing to rid himself of these nonsensical notions. A man's instinct tells him that, because nature herself is so abundant, the power behind nature must be abundant too. One student wrote, "When I read about your own thought building and the abundance that has manifested as a result of it, I feel so thrilled, uplifted too, almost as though I shall float up and hit the ceiling, because something within me answers to what you write. My heart cries joyfully. Of course we were not meant to live sparsely. God is limitless and we are supposed to share in this. An abundant supply brings a larger horizon if we use it wisely. I feel a sense of release when I say that I do want to live abundantly." I'm not going to spend a long time in discussing all this. One of the conditions for enrolment for this course is that you know it already. In these lessons we have to turn our whole life upside down, so we must get busy. It sounds drastic, doesn't it? But don't be perturbed. All I shall do, if you will cooperate, is to turn your thought life upside down. Your life will change with your thoughts. A very simple statement, isn't it? That last one. Your life will change with your thoughts. But in these 7 words is the secret of success, the inner core of power, the reason, if you are not as yet enjoying the abundant life which divine intelligence has for you, turn the words into the personal and say to yourself, "My life will change with my thoughts." Sounds easy, but you have to know how, and that is just what I propose to teach you. Don't fight me, and don't be indifferent at any time during these lessons. Follow step by step in your thoughts, really carrying out in your everyday life what you learn, and you will be successful. Don't just read, do. you have as little chance of gaining success through just reading these pages and not applying them as would-be engineer would have by just reading a textbook. What I propose to teach you is something that will gain you your heart's desires, bring you true success. It has been said that true success is to live your life in the place you wish to be in, doing the work and the play that you want to be doing all the time. Well, that is the success I am enjoying now. I could not desire any other work than that which I do. I would not spend my leisure in any other way, nor change my working environment from where it is now. If I did wish to change these, I haven't the slightest doubt that I could do so. That is success. Yet I had no start in life, no good education, being indifferent at school. I had no money from relatives or friends to help me along. I had no specialised training of any kind, but only what I picked up for 2 months at evening school. I didn't even have good health to assist me, for I was so called by doctors an incurable invalid for many years. But I have told these dramatic story of my recovery elsewhere, and so I shall not do so here. You see, don't you, that I have achieved the only kind of success worth having. I know just why and just how I achieved it, and in these lessons I shall tell you every least little thing about it. You or any keen, intelligent person can follow the steps I shall outline and reach your success too. But you must follow every step all the way and not pick out the ones you like and leave the others. How are you as regards optimism now? Are you beginning to realise that you can be successful, that it rests with you? Never mind the obstacles and handicaps. Never mind what the stars say. Never mind what your palm foretells, or your handwriting, or the shape of your face or head. By this method, one may short-circuit all those and make straight for one's aim. Refuse to be put off by any obstacle or handicap. Just now I said that divine intelligence had for you an abundant life, and this is so. The scripture teems with promises of this abundance, and all nature proclaims it to you. Man, asleep to the power in his own thought life, builds poverty around himself, and does not dream that he could have his abundant life because he is too busy dreaming of limitation. Yet your own good fortune awaits you. The reason you haven't found it is because there is a golden gate standing between you and prosperity. It seems insurmountable, but in reality it's made of mind stuff only. When you have the right thoughts in your mind, the golden gate will melt before you, and you will be able to pass through to the good fortune that divine intelligence has for you. For your mind and the gate will be one. In this course you will learn exactly how to transmute your hampering thoughts into golden gate ones. All obstacles will disappear as you pass through. I can't tell you how long it will take. It depends on 2 things. 1. How readily you will believe the great truths and secrets I shall reveal to you. 2. What use you will make of them when you know. At this point I will give you a powerful exercise which you should adopt and carry out every day. This is one of 4 secret exercises which will be given to you in this course. Do number 1 daily until you receive number 2, then use number 2 until you receive number 3, and so on. If you haven't time to do it in the addition to the other exercises, cut out one of those and use the secret exercises in its place. Do 1 secret exercise every day and you will grow in a power which will amaze and delight you. When you have all 4 secret exercises, choose the one that gives you the most power and adopt that one. Secret exercise number 1. Go into a room where you can be alone. Stand, cover your eyes with the palms of your hands, then state calmly, without actual sound, what it is that is your especial need at the moment. Breathe deeply 7 times. Then suddenly uncover your eyes and throw your arms out and up, shouting inwardly, but without actual sound, these words. My just desires I do not hide. Windows of heaven, open wide. Pour down abundance, riches, power. Give me thy blessing in this hour. Pause for a moment feeling exultantly that your prayer has been heard and that the very riches of heaven are pouring out upon you, bringing you all good things, but especially your particular need. Be sure to ask only for that which is good and for yourself, for this exercise can't be done for others, though others can share in your blessings. Hold to the inner conviction that you will receive what you have asked for. Watch for it, expect it, repeating the exercise whenever you wish, but at least once a day. And here is a special affirmation. Obstacles melt from my path as I step through the golden gate to good fortune and fulfillment. Don't just say this once or twice and think that's all you have to do. It is far more important than that. You must go on saying it until you feel a tingling exultation running through your veins. Think of some specially thrilling moments you've had. I once won a £9 prize in a competition of skill which I had been entering every week for months. Suddenly I saw my name printed in the magazine, and within a few minutes the postman arrived with the cheque. I was thrilled to the marrow, as the graphic description goes. I literally tingled all over. My steps felt light. I smiled bright-eyed at everybody, and everybody smiled at me. That is how you must feel about the affirmation. Say it when you wake, smiling over the delightful prospect, feeling it. Say it at odd times during the day, while walking, waiting for a bus, travelling in the train, etc. Sit down in some undisturbed spot and say it over and over for a few minutes. Use an egg timer if possible, the kind patterned after their old hourglasses with the sand that runs through them. Let the sand run through it, watching it as it does so, and say your affirmation slowly and happily over and over. Say it when you go to bed, just before dropping off to sleep. And when you say the affirmation, muse on it. Remember that you must get the affirmation right down into your subconscious, and then this wonderful part of you will work it all out in your life. Never mind how. Divine intelligence knows you don't need to know. There is a little known method of doing it. As you say the affirmation, draw in your solar plexus, or stomach if you like, and hold it while you say the words. Don't hold your breath, just breathe normally. When you have said the affirmation, you can relax the solar plexus, pause a moment and repeat. You can do this quite unobtrusively at any time. Earlier in this lesson I quoted a student's letter which commented on my abundance. This abundance was described in the magazine at the time, and for your benefit I reproduce it here. It concerns the very early days of this work, when I had a paper fund, but the fund is not needed now. This organisation is fully self-supporting and has been for many years. But at that time, 1951, this organisation was less than 2 years old. Started with a seed of faith and no capital. It had then become a tiny plant and not the strong tree whose branches stretch across the world as it is today. This is the article that I wrote for BWN all those years ago. Abundance in a material sense has not come my way, wrote a student this week. How familiar this phrase, or a similar one, is. But why? Why shouldn't material abundance come to students when mental and spiritual abundance comes so often? I think I know the answer. You don't believe that it will. It is easy to think of something abstract coming from the abstract realm of thought, but more difficult to think of something solid and concrete coming from this same realm. But it does. Not that the money itself comes from this realm, but forces are set in motion which brings the money into your life. A few days ago I had been thinking of my needs for this work. I went over in my mind the details of them, having a firm, unalterable conviction that God can and will supply. I confidently expected it. That same evening I picked up my notebook and wrote in the date, July 31st, 1951. Then I wrote, "To infinite intelligence, the source of all supply, I confidently turn for new students, plenty of gifts for the paper fund, a heap of postal orders for fees and books, to meet all expenses, overflowing supply so that I can have large displayed advertisements, great success in all things." I have a strong feeling, belief and conviction that I shall receive these goods, these things that I have asked for. All things are possible to him that believeth. After that, I soon went to sleep. The next morning, the post was opened. There were new students, gifts for the paper fund and reams of paper, and a heap of postal orders. I laughed and picked them all up in my hands, spreading them out like a very large hand of cards. I read again what I had written the night before, thinking exultantly, how near God is. You see what happened. During that day, while I was thought building for success, students were writing to me. I set the forces in motion during that day and wrote the result that night, and abundance has continued to flow all this week. So you see, if you will only believe with all of your heart, you can receive a supply for all of your needs. Afterward, as I have said, all that happened a long time ago, and it seems so tiny now. Paper is brought in large quantities, more than 100 reams, or about 50,000 sheets, being delivered at a time. The one office of those early days has for years changed into 7, all stocked with expensive equipment. I have employed 14 people and spent £50 a week on postage stamps. All the other expenses have been on this huge scale, yet the principle remains exactly the same. I still feel a thrill in the nearness of God and his ability and willingness to supply. I still exult in the glorious fact of faith and in the realization of desire as the motive power, sending us onward and upward. As we climb to achievement, we gather wisdom at every step. We learn by experiencing in our own lives the power of faith. If I suddenly developed a yearning to emigrate to some far distant country, or to live in a vast mansion, or to own a Rolls Royce, or a string of racehorses, or a theatre, or a museum, I haven't the least doubt that I could do so. This is not said lightly. I am very serious when I say that I haven't any doubt at all that my faith would bring me my desire. But none of these things appeal to me. One has to have a yearning, a glowing desire to bring fulfillment. What things soever you desire, the Master said, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. This I know. I will teach you to know it too. In the next lesson I shall tell you of more methods by which you can come to your own prosperity. But in this first lesson I am helping you to get some of the cobwebs and mist out of your eyes, to enable you to see and realize the existence of your golden gate to good fortune and fulfillment. Remember, change your thoughts and you change your circumstances. You have 30 weeks to study and practice this course. In 30 weeks you can entirely change your thoughts and so begin to change your life entirely. Therefore success is assured if you start now. Follow closely and do not waver. Don't just say the Golden Gate affirmation. Keep on saying it and musing on it at available times each day until you are living it, until it's the basis and the theme of all your thinking. When you have finished this lesson, you will have 28 more weeks in which to practice prosperity thinking. By then it should be a habit. And that's the end of the first lesson. Namaste.